Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the first video of this Tableau Say Hello series, we discussed about the Tableau start page or the landing page. In this video, we will discuss about the Tableau Data Source Page. First, let us connect to a flat file, the sample superstore file. So once we connect to a sample superstore data file, we are navigated from the start page to what is known as the Tableau Data Source Page. By default, you will have only few sections which are visible in the Tableau Data Source Page. Once we drag and drop a table from the left pane, we see few changes in the Tableau Data Source Page. So before going in detail, let us talk about the various sections, the main sections which are present in the Tableau Data Source Page. The first section is the left pane. The second is the canvas area. The third is the data grid. And the fourth and the final main area of the Tableau Data Source Page is the Metadata Grid. Apart from these four main sections of the Tableau Data Source Page, we have three additional subsections like the connection type selection, the data source filters settings section, as well as few other view options which we will discuss further. Let us now move over to the sections in detail, starting with the left pane. The left pane contains the details of the data source that we have connected using Tableau. As you can see, right below the connections section, we have the name of the flat file. In this case, it is a sample superstore Microsoft Excel file. Below that, we have all the sheets or the worksheets that are present within the Microsoft Excel file. In this case, it is the orders, the people, as well as returns sheet. In this case, what is being displayed are the details of a flat file. In case we connect to a relational database, for example, Microsoft SQL Server, the details might vary. For example, you might have the name of the server as well as the database or schema which is displayed below the name of the server, and the various tables that are present within the database or schema. Apart from the details of the data source, there is a possibility to add further connections to the data source using this add hyperlink. We can create something called a cross database join, where you can connect to multiple connections within the same data source. Let us now move on to the canvas area. This canvas area is often called as the heart of the Tableau Data Source Page. The reason being, it is what is being used to create and modify the Tableau data model. The Tableau data model in itself can be simple in the sense that it contains just one table, as is shown in this case, like it consists of only the orders table in this case, or it might be a complex model consisting of multiple tables. I will bring in further tables from the left pane. So here we are displaying multiple tables which are connected via what is called as relationships, or affectionately called in the Tableau world as nulls. From Tableau version 2020.2, we have two layers in the Tableau data model. So what is shown here is the logical layer. This is the default layer that is displayed as soon as we open the canvas area. In certain cases, we might need to migrate to what is known as the physical layer. So physical layer, you can migrate just doing a right click and doing an open, or we can just double click the logical layer. So inside this, we are now in the physical layer. So inside the physical layer, we can create combine the data using joins as well as unions. In this case, we might need to combine orders in the returns table using an inner join here. So if you want to, so for now, let us just remove this returns table. And if you want to migrate back to the logical layer, we just need to click on the X icon, which is present on the top right of the physical layer. So now we are back to the logical layer. Let us now move on to the data grid area. I will first remove these tables just for sake of convenience. So the data grid consists of all the rows which are present in the data source. It consists of all the headers that are automatically detected once we connect to the data source. It is being auto detected by Tableau. If we do a right click on the field, or we click on the drop down which is present on the right side of the field name, we get a context menu which displays various operations that we can perform on a field level basis. For example, we can rename the field, we can hide the field, we can create further calculated fields based on these fields, create groups, and we can also check the description of the field. Of course, this context menu will vary based on the field type. In this example, for a date field, you might have certain options. Whereas if you check for a text field, like the customer ID which is mentioned here, you might have certain additional options like aliases, split and custom split, etc. Let us now move on to the data grid, due to the metadata grid. So we can just collapse this to display the metadata grid. So the metadata grid is the final main section of the Tableau Data Source Page. So metadata is data about the data. This might sound confusing at first, but let us try to understand it further. It provides the details of the various fields on a row level basis. What are the components which are mentioned in the metadata grid? We have the type, which displays the data type of the various fields. We have the field name, which is the name of the field that is auto detected by Tableau. This field name can be modified within Tableau as per the end user requirement. The next is the physical table, which provides the mapping as to which physical table the field belongs to. The last column which is present in the metadata grid is the remote field name. This remote field name is the way the field name is linked to the underlying database or data source. This remote field name cannot be modified within Tableau. So again, similar to the data grid, if you do a click on the drop down arrow, there are various operations which we can perform in the metadata grid, like renaming, copy values, hide values, aliases, you can create calculated fields. Apart from these, so the metadata grid is useful in getting a quick glance of the data which is detected in Tableau. Let us perform few modifications to the metadata grid. Like we want to hide, for example, let us hide the row ID field. And the shipping date, let us rename it to ship date. Let us rename it to shipping date. Now, like I mentioned, there are few additional subsections to the Tableau data source page. The first one is the selection of the connection type. By default, it will always be a live connection. When we connected first time using the Tableau Desktop Professional Edition, there is an option where you can select an extract type connection. Once you select an extract type, we will have certain additional menus like the edit as well as the refresh. Once we click the edit link, we will get an additional dialog box known as the extract data. This extract data dialog box can be used for carrying out the various settings that are required while you define an extract. Like you can mention the various extract filters, the aggregation options, the number of rows, incremental refresh settings, etc. Right now, let us just cancel it. Let us move it back to the live connection type. The second subsection is the data source filters, which is present on the right hand side of the top half of the Tableau data source page. If we click on this add link, we will get what is known as the edit data source filters. We can click on this add link. Here we can select the field that we want to filter. Say I want to select the region field. We will get a filter dialog box from which we can select the various members that we want to filter as part of the data source filters. In this case, I'm selecting the central and the south regions. One disclaimer is the type of filter that is displayed here depends on the type of the field that is selected to be filtered. It might vary for a discrete field and a continuous field. I'll just click on this OK. So once we do this, we can see that the filter has got affected with the details mentioned here. So it keeps the central and the south region. One point to make note is before we have applied the filter, you can see that the number which is mentioned below the filters section is 0, meaning that there are no filters which are currently applied. So once I apply the filter, we can see that this number has got incremented to 1. The last additional subsection is the view options. For that, let me make this a multi-table data model as I shown in my previous examples. So just above the data grid, we have the option where we can select the table that is being for which the data grid as well as the metadata grid is displayed using this drop-down option. We can select the single orders table or the people table or the returns table. Dynamically, the contents of the data grid as well as the metadata grid will vary. on the right hand side, we have by default 100 rows being displayed in the data grid. We can change this number to say 4. It will be dynamically updated, meaning that only 4 rows of data are displayed in the data grid. The last option which is present in the view options is you can click on this gear icon, where you can have an option to show aliases, to show hidden fields, and various options which you can use to sort the field. Like you will have the default is the data source order, then various other alphabetical descending and ascending ordering. If you remember, we had hidden this row ID field. So if you select this show hidden fields, you can see that the row ID is getting displayed here. Apart from this, I would like to also mention the subtle difference which you will observe when using the Tableau Desktop Public Edition. So in the Tableau Desktop Public Edition, with respect to Tableau Data Source Page, everything else remains same except for the connection type selection, which is not present. The option will not be present in the Tableau Desktop Public Edition. Apart from that, the other options remain the same. This completes the video on the Tableau Data Source Page. I hope you found this video useful. Looking forward to meeting you in my next video. Bye. Take care.